Hi, grade 2. It is time for Bible, and I'm looking forward to reading with you and learning with you about this next journey, this next part of the journey of Jesus. Now, we're going to be stepping back a little bit in the timeline that we have been going on. We're going to go back to a time before Jesus was crucified. A time when he was speaking to large crowds and teaching them. This time is a time where Jesus would tell stories to the crowds. But the stories were not just made up for fun. These stories were told to teach about the kingdom of heaven. You see, these stories were called parables. And parables are short stories that teach a lesson. Today's story is called The Parable of the Sower and the Seed. Now, something you need to know about the word sower, this is not common anymore, is that a sower of seeds, that's right, you got it. A sower of seeds is someone who throws or plants seeds. This is not the sower who sews clothes or stitches with thread and needle. This is a person, a farmer more commonly, who would plant seeds in a field to produce a large crop. In today's story, Jesus is talking to such a large crowd that he has to stand in a boat to have room for himself to speak to this crowd. Jesus tells about a sower who plants his seeds, and some of his seeds land on good soil, but some of his seeds land in various places around that good soil. He teaches this or tells the story to teach a lesson. And at first his disciples don't understand. They don't understand why Jesus was speaking to the crowd in parables. I'm going to read part of today's passage to you. And then I'm going to encourage you to read this passage on your own with another reader in your family. The disciples came to Jesus, this is verse 10, and asked, "Why do you speak to the people in parables?" Jesus replied, "The knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you," that is, to the disciples, because of how Jesus had been teaching them, but not to them, that is, the crowd. Whoever has will be given more, and he will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken from him. This is why I speak to them in parables. And now he quotes from the prophets of old. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. In them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. You will be ever hearing, but never understanding. You will be ever seeing, but never perceiving. For this people's heart has become calloused. You know when you climb on the monkey bars so many times that you get blisters and your skin gets hardened after that instead of that soft, nice and fresh skin? Those are called calloused. So Jesus is referring and comparing the people to that condition where you have heard it so often and done it so often that instead of fresh, new lessons, it's like your callus is harder for it to feel fresh and new. They hardly hear with their ears, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. The disciples got their answer. Jesus told these stories in this way so that the people would not only hear, but they would understand. That they wouldn't just hear, but they would listen. And that they would turn to him and he would heal them. Not from their illnesses, although he did that too. He was talking about their hearts. Now you get to hear these stories and you get to listen to them and take them in and learn these lessons. And they're for you too. This good news is for you too, grade 2. Embrace it, accept it, claim Jesus as your own. I want to encourage you to read this passage today and talk about it with your grown-ups so that they can explain to you a little bit more about this story and what it means. What is the kingdom of heaven? And why was it so important for Jesus to tell these people, this crowd of people? And why did this crowd of people want to hear Jesus tell of these things? Why was it so important? Once you have had that talk with your parents, then you can choose from 2 different activities. The first activity you could choose from is a pop-up book activity where you can print off an activity page, and I've made a separate video to explain how to put up that pop-up page together. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. The pop-up page together. Or you could do a journal entry, which doesn't require any printing and still helps you to practice what you are learning. In the journal entry, you are asked to do 3 to 5 sentences to retell the story that Jesus is telling in this passage. And then in those 3 to 5 sentences, you also need to include what the lesson is. So what is the lesson that Jesus is trying to tell? That Jesus is telling the crowd and now us as we read this story. I'm looking forward to reading and just unfolding some more parables with you this week. And we have 2 more this week. Have a great day and enjoy digging in deep into God's Word.